All right, after hours of measuring, fabricating, and figuring out things here, we've come to a conclusion. I did some comparisons between the two frames, put all my figures down. Just like I said, it's kind of crude, but it does work. I don't think I'm going to be able to save this front end of the frame. I think it's bent in this area because I see a little tweakage here and there. I don't know. It just, the numbers do not jive at all compared to the hardtop frame. They're not even close. Like I said, I just really don't know. I'm just baffled at how crooked this could be. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but numbers don't lie, I guess. So I think our option is going to be, I was going to try to cut the frame horns, bend them over, and then have them re-welded on in that spot. But this part is actually shifted. So the driver's side is kind of back, and you kind of get an idea there by looking, because that is straight. This is exact. Everything's measured off of the holes in the frame, which that's where they take their measurements off of. I double checked the length of the boards. I did all that, and you can see this frame is much further out. So it's like this side is pushed back into, I don't, like I said, it is what it is at this point. We didn't lose a lot of money, we just lost a lot of time. So I think we're going to use a hard top frame. I didn't want to do that. Got to change all suspension components then too, because suspension components on this were really decent shape. On the hard top frame, they're not. The hard top frame is perfect though. There's none of the holes are rusted out, nothing. So my buddy Mike has a plasma cutter that I'm going to borrow from him, and we're going to try to cut these braces out. This is all the boxing for the braces. And what we'll do is we'll try to cut them out, get them ground down and fit to the hardtop frame, and tack weld them, and then have a professional weld them in, because that is structural. Not that it can go anywhere, but I don't have enough confidence in my welding. So I think that's going to be our plan moving forward. I'm going to have to put this back together so I can roll it out of the garage. And as you can see, the other frame is over in the corner of the yard. Been doing lots of measuring and comparing to that. It's a shame. It just, but it is what it is. Like I said, this frame is really mint. I mean, none of the holes are rotted through. Everything is straight. Everything is square. I got some crude things that I took some measurements off here, but I got to take all the suspension stuff out. You can see the suspension stuff's not in the greatest of shape, but this frame is very straight. So I'll have to, well, of course the lines are going to come off no matter what, but this is where the boxing goes over this. So I'll have to cut that off, fabricate that on there, graft it onto there, and then have it welded. But just a setback, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it done. I have to put this back together also so we can roll it over to the shop. So, all right, just figure I'd give you an update, and we'll show you when we're cutting. All right, we got the rear side by side. It's the convertible rear, the hardtop rear. Oh, and by the way, got a really good set of used tires. They have really good tread to them. This one's got a little bit of dry rot, not too bad. That one's a little more dry rotted, but I'll sell the tires for $100 if anybody is interested. They're really good Summit GT radials. They're kind of retro. I think they're about 28 years old, so they'd work good for a restoration. So like I said, there's just a little bit of dry rot to them. But all right, serious now. So this was the convertible frame. As you can see, that hole was rusted bigger. The two center ones were rusted bigger, and that one is just a little bit bigger. It's not horrible. I did receive the washers today to weld onto them, but since we're gonna probably not use this frame, this is the hardtop frame, and you can see this frame is really mint. It's straight. There's no bends, there's no creases. All the holes are perfect. Suspension has to be redone on it. Like I said before, I was gonna use this suspension because all the bushings are really good in this, but if I have to take it apart, you know, you might as well put bushings in. So I don't know, we'll see. We're not anywhere near that part yet, but this is what I was talking about. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get a plasma cutter, cut this out on this weld, flip the frame over, cut that piece off, and then graft it onto that. And that will make this frame the same as a convertible frame. Like I said, everything on this frame is mint. It's really straight. So when I bought this car, it was 100% together. So, you know, Denise said, well, what are you going to do about a frame for the other car? Well, in all reality, the other car's probably 2 years out from being done. I mean, the body's tucked away in the back there, so that's not even on my radar right now. And what I'll do is I'll just keep my eyes open for a hardtop frame. Hardtop frames are a lot easier to come by than convertible frames. And if you're not in the market for one, you can find one cheap then. If you need one, you're going to pay for it. So, all right, just wanted to update you. It's quite a shame about this frame, but I need to stop crying over spilt milk because it is what it is, and we just got to move forward. And like I said, we're going to get a plasma cutter in the next day or so. And it's funny, now out in the sunlight I can see ripples there, and here this is perfectly smooth. So it was definitely tweaked here. Like I said, when it's out in the sun, you really, it's very noticeable. So I think this is going to be the best bet, the most financially good choice too. It's going to take more time than money, but we got time. So all right, sorry for the sun glare. The sun is nice and bright this morning, which helps this 48 degrees be warmer. We are going to attempt to cut this out today, cut this frame piece out. I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing. I will show you the setup and how we start it. I really have no idea. I've never done this before with a plasma cutter. I got my buddy's Jegs 40 plasma cutter. He's never actually used it. I put it together this morning. All you do is put a couple hoses on it, and I don't have 240 in here, which I should, but I never had a reason to. But it has an adapter for 110, 120. So let's get this set up and see what we have to do. I don't really know. Like I said, I've never used one before, so first time for everything. I did grind a spot here that's nice, good bare metal. Did that yesterday. It's got a ground just like a MIG welder or anything else. So I'm assuming you put the ground on that. Then it's got a nice, pretty good long lead. And I looked up a few things. I believe the frame is about 3/16. So 30-35. Maybe we'll try 30 first. And then we got to hook our air to it. Now it's very important not to have any water in your system because it can mess the, I have a water separator, plus I drain the compressor all the time. The air pressure is 90 there. I don't know. Is more better? I don't know. We'll see. But all right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our welding helmet, I don't know if that's overkill or not, but that's what I have for welding shield. I figure, well, it's probably safer than not. And like I said, sorry about the sun. It is bright. All right, let's see what happens here. Plug it in. It's on. I know you can't hear me great, but what we're gonna do is try to cut this out here. See what happens. That's pretty interesting. Let me turn it up a little. Let's try this again. That's not going through. Well, it's double thick there, so. All right, I turned it all the way up to 40. Let's see if this will penetrate. That looks like it's going through. Something happened. I don't know if that's going through or not. I think we kicked the breaker. See, that's the thing. We're running this on 40 on a 20 amp. Let's say, yeah. That's really why you need 240. So we might have to put an outlet in. I don't know if I have one. All right, let's try again real quick. Let's turn it down. Turn it back down to 30 and try to do in a lighter area. All right, let's try this again. Seems to be cutting. Seems like it cuts where it's single, but where it's welded, alright, we're gonna have to figure something out because I think we need this turned up all the way. I'm turning it back up to 40 again. We'll see if that works and if it trips it or not. Yeah, see, I think that's going through. It just tripped the breaker again. All right, I guess we're gonna have to put an outlet in. All right, see, it is cutting though. All right, I will pick you up when I figure this out. All right, about 20-25 minutes later, we got our outlet in, 50 amps. Use number 6 wire. All I really needed was 8, but I had 6 and I didn't want to buy 8, so we used 6. It's just hard to work with those short lengths, but it's all right. We got it in, got it wired up. All I gotta do now is flip it on. Hopefully, oh, look at that, it works. We'll get everything hooked back up and then try cutting again. All right, let me put this cover back on and we'll get everything set up and show you along the way. All right, everything's hooked up. Let's try this and see how this works. Hopefully it works better. We're all hooked up to 240 now. Let's give her a try. All right, I think you need a little more air pressure, believe it or not. All right, let's try this again. Actually, it definitely seems to be cutting better for sure. I'm gonna try to do it on an angle. So I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I've never done this before, but it seems like if you start where you're already cutting and go in slow, it works better. The tip, I guess, has to touch. That's what makes the arc. Not really sure, but let me get a wire brush and I think this wire brush has seen better days, but I'm not sure if this tip is supposed to touch or what, but let's try again. Like I said, I'm doing it on an angle. I'm trying to, but not sure. Let's try doing it straight on. That works much better, going straight on. So I think I'm gonna have to do that and then just grind it. So, all right, I will update you as I go. I don't want to bore you with this whole thing. Got a feeling it's gonna take quite some time. I'll get this cut down and then we'll roll a frame on its side. I'll show you once this is cut let you know how long it takes, because I got a feeling it's going to take quite a while. All right, let's get cutting. All right, that took about 15 minutes. Sure ain't pretty, but like I said, we're gonna have to grind the heck out of it. So what I'm gonna do is try to flip this frame up so I can work standing up and not upside down. And yeah, hopefully we don't kill ourselves. We have the engine crane, so, but we got that part cut, so I think it's gonna be all right. You know, like I said, it's gonna take some grinding and some fitting, but I think it's gonna work fine. So let me get this flipped up, start cutting on the other side, and we'll show you from there. All right, we got the engine crane hooked into one of the holes in the frame. We're gonna try to jack this up and flip it on its side. Let's see what happens. It's going. Going. All right, let's put a block under that, or two. Yes, it's a little sketchy, but remember, sketchy is my middle name. All right, we're gonna block it with 2x4 also. Do it on the front. All right, that's not going anywhere. Let's get cutting. Majority of the weight's on the front anyway, but this is what we got to cut right here. Gotta cut all that off. Boop, right across. Oh, that nice pretty paint we got to cut through. All right, we'll show you. All right, that is cut out. It's the old frame. Ain't pretty, that's for sure, but we got the piece. It did take some bending, had to go over the thing again. All in all, it was probably an hour total, but I'm sure I got at least an hour's worth of time of grinding and straightening this up to make it work. But all in all, it should go on there. It fits decent, you know, of course it's molded for there, it should, but I think once we get it cleaned up, I think it should fit. And I don't know if we're gonna mess with this other side today or not. Let's get it back down and then go from there. Like I said, a little sketchy, but this thing wasn't going anywhere. It was solid, so as long as the engine crane doesn't fail, plus it's blocked. So all right, all in all, this little Jegs Cut 40, pretty decent, not bad. I mean, it probably could have a little more amperage, you know, probably 50 amps, 60 amps would be optimum, but you know, it's borrowed, it's not mine. If I was to buy one, I would probably buy that. Like I said, first time using, I've never used it before. And I'm sure if I set up a jig and cut along it, it would be a lot straighter. But we'll get this ground down and we'll go from there. I see this edge piece is still there. Gonna have to get that off. That's part of the old frame. Anything from the old frame has to come off of that. So, all right, we will show you when we do something. Like I said, good set of tires, $100, all four, good tread. All right, I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit because I still have the remainder of the old frame under there. I gotta get out of there. I clamped a piece of 1/8 or 1/4 inch to it, and I'm gonna see if I can cut more of a straight line. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Well, that didn't work too good. Let me hit it again. Try not to cut the channel locks in half. I don't know, I'm probably doing something wrong. Like I said, never done it before. I should probably slow down, I guess. Probably would have been better with the grinder. I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me know in the comments. Not sure, like I said, never did it before. But yeah, I'm still gonna have to grind the heck out of it. All right, let me finish this up. And once we get this cleaned up, we'll show you what it looks like. Struggle's real, kids. All right, that's rough fit. Still got a good amount of grinding to do. Gotta figure something out there. It does have to go in like another 1/4 inch, and then I'm gonna have to get a big C-clamp, I guess. When we weld it, I'm gonna have to flip it up because gotta squeeze the frame. Gonna have to do a little bit there, I think. I want to take some measurements. This gives me a rough idea where it's supposed to be. Obviously, doesn't have to be 100% perfect. We might have to do something with our cross member bolts, but all in all, I'd say today was a pretty productive day. I didn't get done what I wanted to get done, which is typical, but we got a good amount done. We got, you know, 4 hours, and of course we had to run the ACE and we had to put that outlet in, so it's about time to call it. I've run out of grinding disc and I've run out of steam, so Denise is on her way up to Ace Hardware to get more grinding discs. I do have them on order, but they're not going to be here till Tuesday, and I'm too impatient to wait. So we're going to get a couple of grinding discs. But like I said, all in all, productive. We're making headway. We're moving along. That's the important thing. And we'll just keep plugging away. Tomorrow we're going to try to cut that one off, do it a little bit different than we did this one. We'll see. Hopefully we learn something. All right, we'll pick you up tomorrow. All right, we're doing this one a little bit different. Cut the top here with the cutoff wheel, and then we took the torch there, the plasma cutter. I don't know if that's not strong enough or I just don't know how to use it, but did the same thing under here, and then I got to cut here with the plasma. So let me get this one off and we'll show you. Still need to do some more grinding on that one, but making headway slowly. All right, we finally got that one cut off. It cleaned up much nicer than the passenger side. Got it laid in here, got it clamped on. Actually looks pretty darn good. Still got a little more grinding to do, but all in all, it looks good. So I'm gonna finish some grinding, and then what we'll probably do is tack it on, and then we're gonna get somebody to come and weld the whole thing up, and then we'll have a convertible frame. Still got to do a lot of grinding on this one. This one was near as clean cut as the other one, but is what it is. It'll still be fine. None of this will actually be seen, so it doesn't matter. And as you can see, the factory welds aren't the greatest anyway. So we'll get somebody that can really put a nice bead on there and weld it in. So, all right, we'll show you when we start welding. All right, we got this thing all ground down and pretty much ready to go. I got to do a little fit in here. Gonna have to bend that down a little, grind a little there. Still got to squeeze it in. All in all though, it's not so bad. I'm trying to do the harder side first. Now, this is a little jagged, but it doesn't matter. It's all gonna get welded, and it is pretty tight. So right here, I'm gonna have to kind of cut and bend a little bit to get it in there. But I think I'm within a 1/4 inch there. So the setback for the I measured from here to the first hole originally. I don't remember the measurement, but I'm within a 1/4 inch, so I can go forward like another 1/8 inch, I think, which will tighten that up a little bit too. So that's what I'm going to work on. And like I said, all the grinding is done pretty much on for fitting this piece. I just got to tighten this up so I can tack weld this. Once I get things tacked, we'll show you, but making progress slowly. But slowly is better than no way. So, all right, we got this piece tacked in. A little challenging, not horrible though. Just had to put a C-clamp on it and bend and hammer, but I got it tacked like every 4 inches in a lot of spots. Here I got a little bit of a gap that's gonna have to be filled in. This actually overlaps, so that's the strength of it. It actually overlaps, and it's not, you can see how the factory welds are. They're not the prettiest to begin with anyway, but this is exactly how it's done back in the day. It was just a piece that went over, and I cut the 1/4 inch off of it. Now, like I said, this was the uglier one. The driver's side should be a lot cleaner looking. Like I said, it really doesn't make a difference. It's overlapped, it's all tacked on, and I have a guy coming in 2 days that he is a professional welder. That's all he does every day, all day long. So he's gonna come and weld this whole thing up for me. My welder's definitely not strong enough to, it doesn't burn in enough, it doesn't have enough amps, but it was okay to tack it. So, you know, like I said, I just wanted to make it so basically he can come here, set up his welder, and boom, you know, and it's about 16 feet total of welding on both sides when we're done. But like I said, all in all, it looks really good. We'll get the welds on, we'll grind them, even though they're not ground from the factory, but I'll have him burn everything in real good and hot, and then I'll take the grinder, and then I gotta clean this whole frame up. So like I said, double the work, but is what it is. We got rain that's on its way. I wanted to get this side done. The other side is all ground down. I just have to fit it, and we'll probably mess with that maybe later. Got some inside work to do. So all right, we'll show you when we get the other side fit, and I have to bring the engine crane back to my buddy Scotty. We share it, we bought it together, and all of a sudden he's pulling a motor. And it sits for years with nobody using it, and then everybody needs it at the same time. It's just typical. So all right, let me know in the comments what you all think. This frame is in really good shape, other than a couple dents, but I mean, there's no rust on it. All of the mounting holes are perfect, so this should work out really well. Like I said, it's just more work, but I got to redo all the suspension stuff, and we got to wire wheel the whole thing down and prime it and paint it. So, but it's all right, you know, maybe a little weak setback, but we'll get it done, and that's what we do, adapt and overcome. All right, the boxing is all in, it's all tacked in, got it tacked every 3 or 4 inches. Like I said, I'm not really confident with my welder. I can burn it in, but I really have to stay on it. It's just not enough for this. So like I said, we have a guy coming over Friday, hopefully, and he's gonna burn the rest of it in, but everything is fit, everything is ground tight. So basically all he has to do is just come and start laying bead. So it's just as good, if not better. It will be better actually than factory, because factory actually skipped some areas. We're going to re-weld these seams, going to re-weld in here also, just to stiffen up a little more. So like I said, it will be better overall than the factory was. This parallel wise is within 3/16 actually from all the measurements I got, so it's pretty good. So we are going to go with this. Now what we have to do is wire brush, wire wheel this whole frame down. I ordered some suspension parts. I got to pull all this apart, redo these bushings because they're not in very good shape. As you can see, there is a new drag link there. Gonna have to shake everything else down, and then it looks like the ball joints were replaced, and I can tell that the springs are new, so I'm gonna try to save them. I don't know if I'm gonna redo the backing plates on this or take them off the other frame. I'll probably use the steering box off the other frame because that's already cleaned. But like I said, other than that, it went pretty well. It was, you know, probably 2 days worth of work. It wasn't horrible, and like I said, it's still not done. But all right, I'm rambling. I will wrap this up, and at least we have a viable option now and a viable idea that's gonna work. We have a convertible frame that's perfect now. So all right, we'll see you on the next one. Don't forget, like and subscribe.